Hey everybody, hi! Welcome to Saturday night. How are you doing? I'm happy to be here. Last week I was a flibbertigibbet. I think tonight I'm feeling like, at least like, not, I mean, maybe like I'm like a flibber but not a digibbet, you know what I'm saying? It's Saturday night. I love Saturday nights because I get to be nerdy about quilts with everybody who's watching, and it's a good time. It's a really good time. And one of the things we're going to do tonight, it might actually be the whole show. We're going to do the first part of this idea that happened on the show. A lot of ideas happen live on the show. And we're going to do the first half of my first quilt episode. We're going to do half of the pictures, half of the descriptions, half of the bulk, the haul of first quilts that people sent in. People who watch the show, you know, one night I was like, we should have a show where we show people's very first quilts. And indeed, things happen. Sometimes things happen more slowly than other things because, you know, everything takes longer than you think it's going to take in life and at work. But I don't know, people were sending in their quilts and everything and pictures, and so I've loaded up about half. There's a lot. A lot of people send in photos. So we're going to read, there's just a brief description, you know, people sent in, a couple are a little bit longer, which is fine, but I've got a picture of your first quilt, and I'm going to share it with you. So it's half of the batch. We'll do the second half next week, you know, maybe Tuesday, maybe Saturday, maybe it'll be like the next Saturday night it'll be that. I don't know, but we'll do it tonight. So tonight's my first quilt episode, and that's really cool. You people are just terrific, and I don't know. I don't know if I have a picture of my first quilt. I was just talking about it with Cake. Stephanie Cake, how's it going?
It is going well.
Yes.
I am patching into the show from a secret location.
Patching in, I like that. That's a very technical term. We know what we're doing.
Yes, my husband and I took the Get Smart Hush Copter to our location. Hush, 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 hush.
That's good.
We drove down on my in-laws today, so we're in Virginia.
At the in-laws, and there's a quilt. Maybe I'll take a screenshot or something, or maybe you could put it in the Discord. Put a shot of that quilt in the Discord because it's really cool. It's really cool. There's a quilt on the wall. I mean, if that's okay. I'm like,
yeah. My mother-in-law would love to share it.
It's really cool. There's a chicken with it's a rooster, and it's called.
It is a rooster.
Le coq. I was gonna say it's a quilt with a on it, but it's a rooster. You know, a rooster. It's a quilt with a rooster on it.
Yes. No, the secret location is not the bathroom. It is my in-laws' dining room.
The bathroom. Yeah, we found the bathroom studio is really, really great sound quality. Yeah. But yeah, okay, great. So, and you told me you have some juicy information about your research project, Dr. Dutton. So when we take the cake break.
I do. Yes, you guys got to stay tuned for the cake break because, man, Dr. Dutton, he is... I don't even know where to start.
It's getting, I mean, the plot thickens with this man.
He's the gift that keeps on giving.
Indeed he is. So around here on Quilt Nerd, hi to everybody, by the way. So Hani, I saw you in there. So happy, so glad to see you. Drink Wine and So Lynn, Mishral, I'm glad you're watching. Kenny, I'm glad you're watching. Bip is here, and Jan, Ivy Godivi, and Dee Dee Brew Crew. Yes, Dee Dee Brew Crew's here. It's okay. Yes. Caitlin, Quilts for Sweet Dreams, Quack Quack Cat. And I do want to say too, hi to everybody, hi. And to the Lurker Lounge. Hey, Babe's here. Awesome. The Lurker Lounge, some people watch the show, they don't really want to chat in the chat. It's totally fine. They don't, they keep a low profile, which I respect. Totally respect that. But hello to you. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we multi-stream to Facebook and YouTube. Let's be, we're not really supposed to. I mean, the channel, if there were like a zillion people subscribing and watching to this channel, we would probably not be able to do that, but like for right now we can fly under the radar, and I really like it. So if you want to subscribe to the show, however, you have to do it through Twitch, and I got a couple emails from people who were like, I finally subscribed on Twitch. Now I feel like I'm really part of the crew. And I was like, yeah, that's totally great. You got to do it. So if you want to subscribe and like get stuff, and you don't have to watch ads, and it's just the party's kind of over here on Twitch. You don't have to be afraid. It's a good time. Earth Girl Now subscribed at Tier 1. You've been subscribed for 12 months. Thank you, Earth Girl Now. Just went on my first cruise. Anybody think a Quilt Nerd cruise would be possible? You'd go for sure. I think it would be possible. You know what I would really like to do? And then I have a little story for you. I'd really like to have a Quilt Nerd conglomeration. A Quilt Nerd cluster, a Quilt Nerd party. And have it not a cruise. I mean, I went on one cruise, Earth Girl, and it was okay, but it wasn't totally my jam. I don't know. The ocean scares me. It's deep, and there's fish in there that are big. But we could do a party in Chicago, like a Quilt Nerd gathering, a gathering of the nerds, and then we could like sail boats on Lake Michigan, because my friend Sarah is a captain. She can fly boats. I literally almost said she can fly boats, but she can sail boats. But we could like do like a charter or something, you know, depending on how many people are there. Maybe we'd have a flotilla. Wow, I have not used that word in a sentence, maybe ever. But you know, it could be a thing where we could like take boats out on the lake, you know, so it wouldn't be like a cruise. But anyway, the point is, I'm so glad you went on a cruise. Welcome back. And it sounds like it was a really good time. That's awesome. I love that. Oh yeah. Robin just reminded everybody, for Tier 2 and Tier 3 subscribers, tomorrow is the Sunday Social. Tier 2 and Tier 3 subscribers, you get a little extra stuff, and you get private streams and things like that. And once a month, the Sunday Social. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., there's always something special for you. I do something extra, do a little something extra, and I've got something good for you tomorrow. So we just hang out, we sew together. It's a different vibe, but it's always, you know, it's a good time. It's a Quilt Nerd good time. So if you're around for that, it will be great. Hello, Kenny. And I also saw that Mama Llama subscribed at Tier 1. You've been subscribed for 8 months. You're on an 8-month streak. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support, Mama Llama. It's always good to see you. And M. Hicks subscribed at Tier 2. You've been subscribed for 16 months. I got to give a shout out to the people who subscribe. It's so important. It really helps the show. It helps me do this and make the show better and like bigger. And you know, it takes a lot of time to make this show. So when people subscribe, it's like, okay, this is really worth it, you know. But I also feel like it's worth it whenever we kind of gather together, because the information exchange and the camaraderie. I'm not just saying that. It's really great. It's a gift in my life, and I hope it is in yours too. Padma, I'm eating your chips. Okay, and so Fiandor is here, and Carrie Dell is in Cozumel. That sounds cool. Thank you for your text last week, by the way. I keep forgetting to text you back, but it was great. I appreciated that. Fiandor, you know what? Fiandor subscribed with Prime. You've been subscribed for 16 months. And if you want to try being a subscriber, you can subscribe through Amazon Prime. It's true. You get a free Twitch subscription each month, and you can subscribe through Amazon Prime. It is a thing that is available because Jeff Bezos owns everything, including Twitch. Thank you, Fiandor. It's great to see you. It's really great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so everybody, I want to share. Oh, Betsy Dragonfly subscribed with that Prime for 13 months. You're on a 9-month streak. Betsy Dragonfly, I appreciate you. I think that I'm caught up. So, hey, Elle Reader, hi. So, I wanted just to say, so, you know, I'm gonna get on because we've got a lot to share, but I did something this week and this morning. I had a regular work day today. I was at the office very early because I picked up a freelance gig and it was a paid gig. I didn't do it out of the goodness of my heart. Who's got time for that? But a friend of mine owns a watch company. His family has a watch company that was founded in Chicago, 100 years ago. 1922 was when his father started the watch company, and they're doing a relaunch. So the company's been doing its thing, but it's not been producing the same. Anyway, it's complicated. It doesn't matter. But he needed copy, right, for the launch. And he's like, well, you write some, I was like, yes, I will do that. And the reason I mention it is because when I talk to people about quilts and like how they're made, like when people are like, people will say like blankets, or like sometimes the guy on the plane, like you're sitting next to the guy on the plane. It could be a female, it doesn't, whatever. It could be a friend beyond the binary. Everybody can get quilts wrong. It doesn't matter who you are. But it's like, I'll be like, yeah, I make quilts, and the person will be like, oh, nice. My grandma used to knit. Yeah. And I'm like, if I'm tired, I'm just like, that's great. And if I'm sassy, I'll be like, it's actually different. But when I'm describing quilts or talking about the biggest thing that I've found, or the stickiest wicket, whatever, that I've found when I'm talking about quilts to someone who doesn't know about quilts, it is in the describing of the difference between the patchwork or applique, right? I don't know, Cake, if you felt this, and the quilting. It is difficult for people who don't know how a quilt is made to understand that as quilt people, like as quilts as a medium, they're so amazing because you have two design vectors. I'm really common with the freaking words tonight. Flotilla, vector, you know. I just learned, by the way, that clocks, the 60-minute clock thing, was based on Sumerian stuff. Anyway, sexagesimal. It's a sexagesimal system. I know. It's because I watched it 3 times because I was like, Eric, you have to see this. Joe, you have to see this. It's sexagesimal. Anyway. So, but the vectors of design for quilts, it's so exciting because you have the patchwork, like all those colors. You see all those cool like colors. Like that's taking little pieces of fabric and sewing them together. And then you have the quilting, which is like, you see that circle, you know, that mandala, right? So honey, you taught me that word. I'm so glad you're here. It's great to see you. And then, so like that, the quilting, we know what it is, but somebody who doesn't know quilts doesn't really understand that. And so it's so important to what a quilt is. It's so important. Like, so I go through and I say, you know, there's the quilt top, which is the pretty part, you know, this patchwork or applique. I usually just kind of leave out applique. I just say, that's, you know, there's the top and that's all the pieces, the pretty patchwork. People know what patchwork is. And I said, but it's not a quilt until it's quilted. Actually, no, I'm skipping. So you have the pretty patchwork top, and then, you know, we make what's called a quilt sandwich. So we have the patchwork top, and then the batting, which is the fluffy stuff, and then there's a backing, which is just a plain piece of fabric. And it's not a quilt until it's quilted. So then when you stitch together all those layers, and you can do that in a pretty pattern, then it becomes a quilt. And we finish the edges, and there you go. And I'm like, if you've had a quilted vest, you know, like the quilted, you know, the diamond quilting, that's quilts. And so then people are like, oh, you know, like, okay, oh, right. The reason I mentioned the watches is because I totally understood like how people must feel, because he's like, well, the case back is, you know, this, and then, you know, and then this, and then the quick release, whatever, and then the bezel and the pumpkin thing, and then the, you know, the sapphire crystal and the exhibition back. And I'm like, I was watching, the reason I know about the sexagesimals, because I've been watching YouTube videos on timekeeping and timepieces and the history of watches to try to understand how to write about them. It's really interesting. So out of my element, but it's fascinating. So yeah, I just kind of was feeling like, yeah, okay, if you don't know what a quilt is and a nerd is talking to you about it, you know, like, I get it. I get it. You don't know about it, and it's complicated, and a watchmaking family knows everything about watches, and a quilt making person and community, we know everything about quilting, but, you know, we are experts. We are. At this point, you are an expert. I mean, what is an expert? Somebody who knows a lot about a thing and can, like, help you maybe figure out the thing you want to do? I don't know. What's an expert? Would you consider yourself a quilt expert? See, I don't know.
I went on a limb and call myself an intermediate quilt knowledge person.
An intermediate quilt knowledge person. Approved. I agree. Because my mom used to say, you know, there's no such thing as a master quilter, because who can master anything, you know? But I don't know. There's some folks out there.
I've got my 10,000 hours in.
See, yeah. She can sew anything. It's almost freaky. You could sew a rooster. You can sew that rooster that I'm seeing back there. Okay. Deborah, thank you so much for liking the stream. We're getting kind of wild up here. Sexagesimal. That's right. That's right. There it is. Hayward Bird Nerd. It's great to see you. So here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to talk about this intro quilt first. I have an announcement. We're going to wait. We're going to wait for that. We're going to get into this. Here's our, I got to get small. I got a haircut. Anybody notice that? Okay. She cut it a little short, but that's okay. Okay, so here is our intro quilt. The quilt changes every show. Start with a new quilt to be the jump off. And this one is from the Fabric of a Nation book. I'm just going to show you Oh no, here, I've got it here. So it's from this book, and you can purchase that through our affiliate link, which would be great. This is the book that attends the Fabric of a Nation exhibit. We'll talk about that later, why that's important. But the Fabric of a Nation exhibit that was at the MFA, the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. And so this comes from that book. This was in that exhibit, this quilt. And it's by Nancy Krasko. And when we were talking about the Fabric of a Nation exhibit, when it was up, and I wasn't able to go in 2020, was it early 2022? I think it was 2020. Yeah, now I'm not. It was.
It all blends together, Mary. I don't know.
In pandemic years, it was 50 years ago. So, yeah, exactly. But it was, a while ago. And we may have looked at this because I was looking at some pictures from the exhibit. But this quilt was made in 1979. And, I'm going to make a note. Nancy Krasko. We should look at Nancy Krasko's work. From what I know of Nancy Krasko, her quilts don't look like this these days. But this is 1979. This is called a quilt. Lauren's Rainbow Quilt. So here, this is a really good example that this would be a good quilt to show somebody if you were talking about what a quilt is, because it's really clear to see these patchwork pieces. And then, I should say, this photograph is really a good one to show people, because you can really see those quilting stitches. You can see that the leaves are quilted into the quilt. Okay. So there's a reason I picked this one, not just because of the exhibit, but for another reason. So I'm going to read to you at least some of what they have to say about this quilt in the book from the Fabric of a Nation. So Nancy Krasko is a formally trained painter whose quilts were recognized for their original designs starting in the mid-1970s. Like many artists making quilts in Boston at the time, Krasko was a leader in the quilt revival sparked by the bicentennial. Krasko's work, including Lauren's Rainbow Garden, amalgamates the influences of painting and other two-dimensional art forms with the collective making of a quilt guild, in which a range of iterations of the quilt are accepted and encouraged. Well, ideally. Ideally, that happens in a guild. Anyway, a functional quilt made for her 6-year, let's take a look at the whole thing, made for her 6-year-old daughter, Lauren's Rainbow Garden acknowledges the intimate and personal nature of this medium, while its play with the traditional block format and exuberant colors demonstrate Krasko's innovative approach. This is interesting. So Krasko describes herself as a fiber artist. She studied painting at the Rhode Island School of Design. After graduating and starting a family in the 60s, she found that toxic paints and materials made it difficult to have her small children nearby while creating art. I've heard this before. I've heard it. Did Bisa Butler say that? No, maybe not Bisa Butler. Yeah, I think maybe it was Bisa. I think so. Anyway, I've heard that before. Mothers who turn to quilt making. Kitty Hannah, hi. It is happy. It's wonderful. Yeah, okay. So with leftover fabric and a basic knowledge of how to sew clothes, she made her first quilt in 1969, so 10 years before this quilt. A few years later, she was exhibiting and selling work at the Poly Arts Fair in Cambridge, Mass. In 1973, American Pieced Quilts, a traveling exhibition of the collection of Gail Vanderhoof and Jonathan Holstein, yay, inspired Krasko to rethink the possibilities of the medium, as did the 1975 exhibition of contemporary quilts at the Carpenter Center for the Arts at Harvard University, which featured the work of, wait for it, Molly Upton, Susan Hoffman, and Rodka Donnell, who we talked about the other day, yesterday on the Quilt Nerd Shorty, Rodka Donnell. So she was in that show. Is that right? Oh no, she was inspired by that show because it was just the three: Rodka Donnell, Molly Upton, and Susan Hoffman. So that's a big deal. You see, it's all coming together, isn't it? 1979. Think about it. She was in Cambridge. This show is happening at Harvard in 1975. She was inspired by the Whitney show. And so now this person who's like, I can't paint anymore. I have children and they're like breathing in, cerulean or whatever. So that's very interesting. So in 1975, Krasko's quilt Bicentennial Star won first prize in the individual category at the Quilts for 76 exhibition at the Boston Center for the Arts. In 77, she was among the founding members of the Quilters Connection in Arlington, Mass., a guild and creative community that welcomed artists interested in creating both original and traditional designs. Just going to zoom in a little bit more. And it remains active today, as of the time of this printing. It was within this group Krasko made Lauren's Rainbow Garden. Responding to her young daughter's request for a rainbow quilt, Krasko modified the traditional geometric format of the quilt block with curved pieces of cloth in solid, saturated colors. Lauren's Rainbow Garden was accepted into the first Quilt National. Oh, well. 1979, it was the first one. Didn't we just look that up? Wow. So this quilt was in the first Quilt National. How interesting. I would say like the Quilt National, that whole thing is probably like the part of, as far as I know so far, I know very little about that whole thing. I don't know much about Quilt National. Like Nancy Crow, Rhonda, I know a little, but like I would really like to dig into Quilt National. I'd like to go. Do you guys want to go?
I have a few of the books, but I really don't know anything about it.
Exactly. I don't either. It's the Dairy Barn, and it's biennial. It's Nancy Crow. Like, I really want to go. It's totally cool. But, like, I want to know more about Quilt National. What's the deal with that? Like, how? Yeah. So maybe we should learn about it together. That'd be cool. Anyway. Yep. Oh, Francoise Barnes, right. Virginia Rounds, okay. This is fairly long, so I'm going to kind of jump ahead. Okay, here we go. The end. Lauren's Rainbow Garden is embedded in the functional tradition of traditional quilt making, but shows how the medium was being reshaped by innovative artists in the late 1970s. A teacher, parent, and practicing artist, Nancy Krasko has promoted and supported the work of others in this medium from the quilt revival's nascent phase in New England in the 1970s to its growth nationwide in the 1980s and 90s. Like others in the Crit group, which they talked about earlier, but I skipped, Krasko remains a practicing artist, showing new work in exhibitions and art shows across the country. Nice. Very nice. Very interesting. I'm down. I'm totally down. Cool quilt. Okay. That's that. Here's why I picked it. Because we're going to talk about first quilts. And when I saw this first quilt by our own M. Hicks, I was like, that reminds me of that Nancy Krasko quilt. It kind of does. I mean, it's bright, it's saturated. And I thought, well, I'm going to start with the Nancy Krasko thing. It's really cute, right? It's all happening in 1979. Angelina, I was born in 1979. I bet many other people watching this chat were born in 1979. I think you're young. No, you're younger. You're a spring chicken is what you are. So what do you say? Kate, you want to look at some of these first quilts?
I do.
It's exciting.
I do.
It's exciting. It really is. Okay. Okay. Well, sorry. I have a couple of, I've got a video. I don't think we're going to get to it. I think we're just going to look at first quilts tonight because there's so many. So we'll see how many we get through tonight. Might even be a 3-parter, but I don't know. Okay. So M. Hicks has most of the quilts have one image, which is good. Before we knew how to do this, people, I was like, send pictures of your quilts, and sometimes we'd have so many, can't get through them. But most have one picture. A couple of them have a few, and M. Hicks sent 3 pictures, and that's great. It's great. It's really great. I'm just setting up kind of this format of the show so you understand what's happening. Okay. So, M. Hicks. M. Hicks says of this quilt, how many of us can claim a friend that we've had for 45 years and counting? M. Hicks was not born in 1979. I know because I'm 43. Okay. I do not have a friend for 45 years. Okay. That college roommate So how many of us can claim this 45 year friendship? That college roommate who knows all of your secrets from when you were 18 and scared out of your wits as a new freshman in nursing school. Well, that's Kelly for me, says Marcia. We met in 1976. We're talking about these 70s, man. Our quad freshman year had 4 rooms with a shared bath and shower. Each room housed 2 gals for a total of 8 students. By the end of freshman year, we were down to 7 students. My roommate was kicked out, interesting. And senior year, there were 6 of us renting a house off campus. Kelly married during Christmas break. Hang on. Oh, this is great. This is a great picture. Love this. Kelly married during Christmas break our senior year, December 1978, and she was pregnant with her first child, Chelsea, in 1983. Her husband, Mick, was in the Navy and away for long periods of time. I made this quilt for Chelsea, who arrived in 1974. Oh, I don't remember if it was gifted to Kelly before or after Chelsea was born. She did her nursery in rainbow colors, obviously. The Rainbow Garden, right? The Rainbow Garden. This pattern is obviously a log cabin block, all solid cotton fabrics. Quilting is stitch in the ditch. I suspect I used polyester batting because that was what was popular back in the early 80s, faced binding. Kelly told me she used this quilt for her 2 daughters, Chelsea and Amanda, and all 4 of her granddaughters. This quilt now lives in her closet for safekeeping for the great-grandkids. Yay! You better get that nail polish, Missy. You get that nail polish out of the way. Oh, and your Doc Martens. See, this is why we love MHEX. And this is why we love the new format of using Acorn, so we can zoom in on the edges of these photographs. Interesting. MHEX. And here's one more. Oh, yeah. You know what? You did great on this quilt. It has held up. Damn. I mean, that's a sturdy quilt. Nicely done. MHEX. What a great way to kick off this My First Quilt episode. It's wonderful. 1978. Is that right? Yeah, 1978. Wow. And she's still your friend. That's cool. I bet you all have been through a lot. A whole lot. A lot happens in 45 years. Very well done. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Jan Make Stuff met her BFF freshman year in the dorm many years ago. I've got friends from college, man. Wow. Yeah, those friends they're important. They're all important, right? Okay, so now what I did is I separate, well, it doesn't matter, but what we're going to do is I put it in alphabetical order for who sent stuff. I mean, it's only half, right? So I put things in alphabetical order, but then I split them up. So we're just going to kind of go through this first screen of them, then we'll take a cake break, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Okay, so it is a challenge to organize some of this stuff, so be patient with me. Robin, thank you for putting everything into a folder. It's very helpful. I appreciate it. All right, so we did MHEX. Let me just go. I saw Mishral in there, so you'll be on deck. But right now, here is Megan GJB. Megan GJB. Megan GJB says, and Megan GJB, I think you're new. I think you're you're a lurker. But I know one thing for sure, and that is that you have made a lovely picture of this quilt. That is a great style shot. It looks awesome, and I love it. You said, yeah, I've got one line from you. Instructions for my quilt, for my first quilt, right? From Amy Carroll's book, Bend the Rules Sewing. Fabric was mostly from eBay. I made it around 2008. 2008, interesting. Okay, first of all, you have a very good sense of color, my dear, because you've chosen these fabrics. You weren't even at a quilt shop, but you chose them on eBay. I think. That's not a Kate dot. Is that Amy Butler dot? I feel like that's an Amy Butler dot. I think maybe it is. Someone else can probably say. Yeah, it's really great. Hey, Megan GJB, 8 months. Okay. Okay, sorry. You had a really good sense of doing the thing that I've talked about before, which is like my mom told me, if you're making a scrap quilt or really any quilt, every fabric, every color in your fabric should have a friend, you know? And I think that's true for the prints too. If you have a geometric print, you shouldn't have all of the other fabrics be florals. Like you should have a geometric print, have a friend somewhere in the quilt that's also a geometric print. It just kind of helps tie things together. You got it. You nailed it. You got the blues, you got the golds. You got the deep burgundy, you got the wine. You got a little turquoise or aqua, you got a little aqua. Well done. Did you quilt it too yourself? That's Walmart dot. It's a good dot. We love a good dot. It's rich. Sherlock says exactly. It's rich. It's wonderful. Well done. And that's your first quilt. And the binding is so great. I approve. Everyone approves. And I hooked up my soundboard and something didn't work. So we're just it's very zen tonight about my praise and everyone else's praise. We'll just enjoy the praise. Okay, without silly sound effects. Mishral is next. You're next. Oh yeah, there's M. Hicks. Okay, I gotta click out all these pictures as I do them. Okay, Mishral. Wait, first quilt. I see 3 first quilts. So which one is the actual first quilt? I didn't think about that until just now, until I saw it. But maybe you'll say in your piece here. Okay. Mishral says, these small table runners, okay, yeah, you do say, are technically the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quilts I made. I gave these to 3 of my sisters. 3 of your sisters? How many sisters do you have? This past Christmas. Oh, sorry, I get really excited. Sorry. So okay. Wow, you are a new quilt maker, Mishral. You have 4 sisters. Did you know Mishral was that new of a quilter, Cake? Me neither. Each block is
I didn't, and I think there's a lot of you out there that are kind of newish quilters, yes. And you put those of us who've been quilting forever to shame. Because you make beautiful things like this on your 2nd try.
I couldn't do binding. I still can't do it very well, but like, I think my mom did it. Like, I was just like, I can't do that part, you know? And look at you. It's wonderful. Gosh, that's so cool. It's very interesting that you would, you know, really know, like, because you've been watching. I know that you're an OG quilt nerd, you know? So it's like, it's an interesting thing to have knowledge of a quilt nerd and then begin to be a quilt maker. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see what you do. So Mishral says, each block is approximately 8-inch square. I did have some guidance with the color choices from my husband, who has a graphic design background. Score. I've always loved watching sewing and quilting shows, but it wasn't until I saw Tula Pink's fabrics, that's how they get you, Tula gets you every time, that I decided I needed a machine and needed to play. Love that. Looking at these, I can see so many beginner challenges, but I'm still really proud at how well they came out. Hell yeah. I mean, awesome. Completely and totally awesome. You did great. I mean, you did great. And that Tula, I love to hear that inspired you, because all you designers out there, thank you, you know, because a lot of people started making quilts with when Amy Butler, you know, had her thing, and a lot of people started making quilts with Tula Pink, but also, you know, Jenny Beyer was one of the first. I think she was the first quilt maker to have like her own line of fabric. It was like she kind of started that whole thing, and she inspired.
Yeah, she was.
Right? Okay, yeah. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Well done. A fine job. Okay. Oh, I don't know if Yvonne is here. I don't know if I saw her. Oh, hang on. That's QB Terra. Okay, well, let's do QB Terra, and then I'll open. I don't want to put somebody's quilt away if it shows up on the screen. So we will do Yvonne next. Yvonne, if you're out there. Okay. Here it is. This is QB Terra. Okay. First quilt, like if your first quilt is a bit tattered, like that is exciting. I mean, I love them all, but this is really cool. Is QB Terra out there? Yeah. Babe, I am with you. Oh, look at this. We don't hear much from Miss Tara, but here's what we have. She says, this is one of my first quilts. It's about 48 by 48, made with cotton poly blends, and it's tied. It was made in the mid-'80s, I think. This is awesome. What is it about this thing? It's just cool. It's just totally cool, Tara.
I think it's just the simplicity of it. And those are just really lovely colors. And
Yep.
yeah, it's clearly been loved and used.
Yeah, exactly. It's simplicity, it's colors. It's just timeless. I mean, it could have been made in, 1890, 1920.
That's what I was thinking. It does look an old quilt. Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. It's really great. Great use of negative space, Sohani. Exactly. Yeah, Quilt Nerd, man. It's a Quilt Nerd moment. It's fabulous, Tara. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat yet, but whenever you see this is awesome. It's great. It's a great picture. Okay, Ivana, are you ready for this? Are you ready? I was very curious to see Ivana's first quilt. I mean, it's Ivana. She quilts for a living, Okay, here it is. Oh, yeah. Made by YMRC, 2003. Lovely. Okay, Ivana says, this is the first quilt I made that I actually still have. And that's worth noting, It's like, how many of us made a first quilt and gave it away? I mean, a lot of people do that because that's why they start making quilts, I love that gold. Oh, I love that gold so much. This is the first quilt I made that I actually still have, says Ivana. It was machine pieced and quilted. It's California king size. We have to talk about that. And it was made for my husband because he's the apple of my eye. Hence the apples. We still use it. Oh, it's so nice. It's so rich and lovely. He's the apple of my eye. That's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's really good. And I don't know. I mean, first of all, the size thing. Like, California King. It's like when you're first starting out, you just don't know what you shouldn't do. You don't know any better.
That's enormous. California King is enormous.
I mean, how enormous is it? What is a California King? Do you have any idea? Like,
I wrote these numbers down recently for a Quilt Nerd, and I want to say it's like in the hundreds of inches if you want it to hang. Like, yeah, it's huge.
It's so much quilt. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, the quilting is beautiful. It's lovely with leaves. I mean, I looked like a heart upside down, but that makes sense too. But it's these beautiful leaves, this vine. It's so good. Apple leaves, apple vine. It's awesome, Ivana. Jill just said a California King is about 114 by 116. God bless you. But it's gorgeous. I think there's 2 pictures, not 3. Yeah. Ivana had 2 pictures. Okay. Amazing. I love it. It's beautiful. I love that you still use it. That is really great. And very nice picture also. Oh, and you can see the backing too. This lovely hunter green. Oh yeah, and what I was going to say is like, saying like, it's a very, like making a quilt for a guy, what does he want? Or, what would it be a good color scheme for a guy? I mean, it's like, sometimes it is true. Like I was working on this watch copy and they're men's watches and the color scheme is very specific, it's very specific. It's kind of a hunter green and, an olive and a wine, these colors, to be honest, kind of a burgundy, flint gray and all this. And, this quilt is really wonderful because obviously like they love it and it's, I don't know, it seems kind of like a guy would like it. What can I say? I don't know. That's what I think. Okay. Oh, look who it is. It's Sherlock. Sherlock Sews. I got a couple more and then we'll do a cake break and come back and finish. Sherlock Sews. Sherlock Sews, eh? Sherlock Sews, you say? Here it is. Wow. I mean, okay. Yeah. First impressions, like, I think I know what year this might have been made, but actually you don't say. I'm glad you're here so you can tell us. This is amazing. Sherlock Sews says, here's a flat shot. of my first ever quilt. Made when I was in high school? What? With the help of my mom. Sherlock Sews is a youngin'. I know that, but like, how young are you? It's backed in yellow fleece. Talk about beginner enthusiasm without much disciplining experience. And we still use it. And here's how she said this. She said, we still use it all, time, We use it all the time. I love it. So you made it when you were in high school. She's not that young, she says. It's so great. So, okay, so let's take a look. So a couple things going on here. First of all, it is a riot of color. I love it. Second of all, you're doing 60-degree pyramids here. That's not so easy. There's easier ways to do a quilt, right? Did you use a template? Did you use it? Because it's a peaky and spike, right? Isn't that what we call it, peaky and spike? And what I mean is this particular, this triangle with the two wedges on, the star is made by, you've got the 4 green patches on the corners, and then you've got these units here to make the spikes. And no, it's cut from a pattern from the newspaper that my mom got at her guild. The newspaper. That is so legit. I love it. Let's look at the whole thing here. So the fabrics, Sherlock, I want to know more. Like, these are so, what's amazing to me, what you've done that I just cannot do. You've been able to blend in some of what I would call novelty prints. Like, there's a couple that I would consider, novelty prints. Like this one, the blue stars. It's fair to call that a novelty print. Like, it's kind of got it's so bright, and there's a graphic quality that looks kind of painterly, and I would call that maybe a novelty print. And they're so much fun, but I never know how to use them. And you've used them so well. Remember newspapers, exactly. It's really, really, really cool. How many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 7. 8. It's 56 blocks. 56 blocks. And then this took a while. I love it. Eat Your Coat says, I want it. I want to have it. It makes me happy. Really nice. Really nice. The polka dots in this world. Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. Well done. Okay, now this next one, I'm glad I saw it up on my thing. And then so here's what we're gonna do. We did Yamana, okay, and we did Tara. So I'm just looking at my lineup here. We're gonna do Slim Quilt Pants, and then we're gonna do Tawny, and then we're gonna close with Biscuit with Robin. Okay, take our cake break and do a few more. And I want to let you know, Slim Quilt Pants. I love the name. And I think Slim Quilt Pants is, well, I know she's a new subscriber, and I love that. I'm so glad you came over to Twitch and you're doing the thing, and I just love it. I'm so glad you're here. You sent in your first quilt, and I was like, whoa, it's amazing. It's amazing. It is what I would consider an art quilt, and it's not that I need to give a content warning, but it's very graphic, and the subject matter is physical. I don't know. It's hard to say, and I don't want to like give anything away, but that's the next quilt I'm going to show you. And here we go. Let me get my paper so I'm ready. I'm so glad that you're here, Slim Quilt Pants, because you are in the right place. That I know for sure. Okay, there's Robin. Sorry, I told you I had a little bit of work to do to get all this ready for you today. Here we go. Okay, Slim Quilt Pants, and I have your real name, but I don't know if I have permission to say it, so your Slim Quilt Pants tonight. Okay, you ready? Whoa. I know. It's wild. This is wild. And it is ambitious, and it is sculptural, and I want to know more. And the thing is with this show is I don't read ahead, right? I don't read ahead. It's an exploration with you. So I don't know. I have not read this yet. So let's read it together. Okay. Yeah. Slim Quilt Pants says, quote, I've been watching the reruns of Quilt Nerd on YouTube since the summer. Yes, I'm so glad. When I started my first big quilt. And finally subscribed to Twitch this week. Yay! Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that you've been watching the reruns this summer. That sounds like a good time to me. Watching Quilt Nerd reruns in July. Sucking on a popsicle. I don't know. And she says, I finished my quilt and started a new one already. I have a million ideas for quilts now. Yes. Thanks for the inspiration and great information. Okay, I've got 2 other pictures from Slim Quilt Pants. I mean, you know what? You're going places. That's all I can say. You're going places. I mean, are you an art student? Are you in art? I mean, I have questions, Slim Quilt Pants. If you're in the chat, I mean, first of all, I'm really gonna zoom in. I mean, we all know what we're looking at here, right? So, the sewing here is like, I'm really gonna zoom in. Sorry. I didn't even think about how zooming in was gonna be an experience, right, on this particular quilt. But oh God, it's the folds. Okay, the fold. I mean, it's really well done. I don't know how to do that. I mean, it is. Anyway, Slim Quilt Pants, you're making me blush. I ought to have the soundboard.
It's got a trapunto quality. It looks like the way that the eye is stitched is making it 3-dimensional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this is wild. I really love this, but I'm kind of it was a little jarring at first.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I was like, how, I think it's amazing. I love that it's your first quilt, and I want to, I mean, it's just oh my God, wow. I'm blown away. It's also, legs, right? And eyes. So it was how do I prep people to really, how do I prep people to receive this information of the quilt without giving anything away? You know what I mean? Because it's incredible. It's incredible. I love that you made this. And by the way, what I'm trying to say, because I'm I don't know, I'm trying to tell you that you're really good at sewing and making quilts, and you should make more of them all the time. And the feet, you're clearly an artist, right? You're an artist. And your ties, the way you've tied, but these feet and this applique, I'm blown away. I'm blown away that this is your first quilt.
The quilt ties match the fabric that they're tying. Yeah. And it matches really well.
And
that's amazing.
It's amazing. And then these look at your stitches. They're little bits of rice. It's really good big stitching. And I also dig your choice of, this is sort of like a house coat almost. It's a very, the fabric is kind of, I don't know, it's really feminine. It's kind of drab in the sort of classic, most pure sense of the term, drab. Colors can be drab. It's kind of that way. And I mean, let's look at the whole thing again. You just need to keep making stuff. Because you did sculptural stuff, you were not afraid. You were not afraid of the subject matter that you wanted to examine. And I would love to know the title of this quilt. That's what I would like to know. But I also can see, by the way, just one more thing. I can also see how you constructed this. Let's just look at the side, right? You made one panel at a time, right? I mean, I think you did one leg at a time. And you also, I mean, what's happening here? How did you make that work? The seam. I don't know. Looks curved to me. Looks hard. I don't know how to do it. So, well done. Slim Quilt Pants, I'm so glad you're a quilt nerd. You are definitely in the right place. You're in the right place. Thank you. Thank you for sending your first quilt. You are great. Thank you. Okay. Now we've got Tani to take us almost home. Biscuit's going to take us home. Let's get that out. And Tani's first quilt. I don't know if I've seen Tani or not. But you are here with a traditional quilt that is, to me, rich and comforting and lovely. And you say of this quilt, circa 1986-87, machine pieced, hand quilted, couples on the bench pattern. I looked right at it. Couples on the bench pattern from Peacemakers, Orange County, California. Pattern, okay, from Peacemakers. Great. Blocks are 16-inch. Connie's like, my quilt speaks for itself. That's all I'm going to give you. That's all the information I'm going to give you. Oh, this is interesting. Listen. What is the deal with this block? 1986, huh? Helen Bitar, like, this thing, right? Okay, yes, you're nodding your head. Stitch? I was like, Stitch. What the hell was that? Anyway, Steph, this is a thing, this mountain with the sun, it's all over.
We have definitely seen that. Yeah. Somebody's been putting that out there.
Yeah.
People have been getting what they're receiving.
Yeah.
We've seen that before.
Exactly. I feel like it was in Quilter's newsletter from this time, like all the time, you know? Interesting. Excuse me. So yeah, we've got house blocks, we've got the Jacob's Ladder kind of thing, pictorial, representational, Marcia, our pictorial blocks, or representational blocks, pictorial blocks. We don't know. It's great. It's beautiful. And I feel like it has that kind of holiday, like it could be that, but it could also just like be your quilt that you love and clearly has sentimental value. I love it. Tani, I love it. It's wonderful. And in the 1980s, like 1986, you started to get a lot more fabric available, you know? So there's, look how many greens are in that one heart. That's the mark of a time period where a lot of fabric it's abundant. You have a lot of greens. You go to a quilt shop. By 1986, there were quilt shops. There weren't quilt shops in 76, but in 86 there were. And so you had all of these fabrics that you could choose from. And you did. I mean, not that you could afford to buy, you know, a zillion fabrics, but they were out there. And that's a very interesting piece of quilt history. Okay. Are you ready, Robin? You're taking us home. And then we'll come back and do just a few more. Biscuit, who helps us make this show, said of her quilt, her first quilt she ever made. The date on this picture is February 13th, 2014. Wow, almost an anniversary. I remember starting this in mid-January so that I could have it finished before my girlfriends and I had our Valentine lunch. Oh, Valentine lunch? You're ridiculous. That's so sweet. I wanted to use it as my red gift exchange gift. Okay. We are a group of 9 that have been friends since our kids were in elementary school together. We started meeting monthly to plan school events because we were in the parent group. Then we started meeting monthly to celebrate each other's birthdays or a holiday, or sometimes both. We still see each other as much as we can. Since 2020, we haven't been able to get back to our monthly schedule. We're working on it, though. It's a Sudoku pattern. I did not know that was a thing, Robin. Okay, let's hear. You use 9 different fabrics, assign a number to each fabric, then use a finished Sudoku puzzle as your layout. Oh my God, that's so sweet. I love that so much. That's so great. Really simple and easy. It was all sewn on my grandmother's Singer Athena 2000. I had no idea what a walking foot was. The quilting stitches are very short and tight. I also made each friend a single block. Hey, nice, with their particular fabric in the middle square to show how that they are surrounded by friends. They were basically made as table toppers. My friend Anne ended up the recipient of the quilt. She still has it today and uses it occasionally. I'm currently making my second Sudoku pattern quilt for my granddaughter, arriving around May 7th. Yay! Oh, God, I mean, there's so much here, Robin. You have a Valentine's Day lunch, which is great. This is great. I had never heard of a Sudoku puzzle quilt. I love that. And the surrounded by friends thing is beautiful. That's like a couple really good inspiration things for people. Like giving quilts to your friends and having them surround it. Like, that's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so great. I'm so happy to see this. How cool is that? It's beautiful. Robin, you're pretty special. And this is your first quilt? Really? Nice work. I'm always curious about people who make their first quilt. Like, where do you get your fabrics? I mean, I was given some, you know, Mom gave me some scraps. My friend Colette gave me some scraps. I just took whatever, you know, and and it seems like people do. I mean, some people would go to the quilt shop, but like, I don't know. I mean, I love all the fabrics, and I just wonder where you got them. Anyway, Robin, yeah, your first quilt. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And now look at you. 9 years later. Ridiculous. Okay, everybody, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to go to the cake break and hear about Dr. Dunton, you know, up to some funny biz. And then Mademoiselle Larry, we're coming back with Mademoiselle Larry. Okay, but first we're going to go to a cake break. I will be back. Buckle up, guys. Okay, here we go.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. All right. Bye.
Well, first of all, I will say that all of you are so amazing with these first quilts. You guys won't see mine until next week, as I was very late sending mine to Mary. And it's a big puddle of garbage compared to these beautiful quilts that you guys made.
No, it's not.
I'm always so jealous of people that, you know, dive in. And, you know, I think it's the first quilt. A lot of times people don't know what they don't know. And so they just dive in and they think, well, this is a quilt, I'm going to make it. And I look at it and I go, dude, that might be the hardest quilt to ever try. And people make these wonderful things. So you guys are all amazing. And I've loved looking at your quilt so far. All right. So let's talk about Dr. Dunton. The other day, I was doing some research, just general research, because I've kind of been doing some focused research, trying to find out, like, Dr. Dunton had 2 wives. I was trying to figure out, like, when, why, how his first wife died, and then exactly how and when he met his second wife and when they got married. So that this remains a little bit of a mystery, and I think I'm going to have to actually go to the Maryland, whatever, the health and hygiene, the people that have the certificates, because I'm not finding anything in any of the online databases. Anyway, the other day I thought, you know what, I should just do some generalized stuff about Dunton. I was also I found out that there was a fire at one of his houses, and some of his quilt capers, his scrapbooks that he'd been keeping about the quilts were damaged. And so, of course, I had to find out, when was this fire? Where was this fire? And then I stumbled across something. In 1918, there was this, like, a real tragedy that happened at Shepherd Pratt Hospital. And if you have never heard of Shepherd Pratt, it is very, very well-known East Coast psychiatric facility. And at the time, I think it was called Shepherd and Enoch Pratt, and now it's just known as Shepherd Pratt. Dunton came to Maryland from Pennsylvania, and like right out of medical school was immediately like somebody. You know, he was like, he got jobs in all these places doing stuff like Shepherd Pratt, Johns Hopkins. I mean, if you live in the US, you've heard of Hopkins. Anyway, our young Dr. Dunton in 1918 was, he was one of the superintendents, I believe. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Well, you know what? Let me just read this article to you, because I have only just skimmed it. So let me go ahead and read it to you, and you're going to find out what happened. Dr. Dunton, he witnessed something terrible. So I'm kind of starting this in the middle of the article, but Professor Ishida, I think his name is Nobu Ishida. He is a Japanese, and this is early enough in the 20th century. They're still called alienists. If you were aware that psychiatrist used to be called alienist. So Dr. Ishida or Professor Ishida is a Japanese visiting doctor at Shepherd Pratt, and Dr. Wolf is one of his colleagues, and Dr. Dunton, of course, is another of their colleagues. So this part of the article is entitled "In Conference Together." Professor Ishida and Dr. Wolf occupied adjoining rooms in the administration building. They breakfasted together yesterday morning, and shortly after 9 o'clock, they went to the conference room for the morning meeting of the staff. In the conference rooms, both Dr. Ishida and Dr. Wolf had desks. Dr. Ishida's desk was near the blackboard. The conference was conducted by Dr. William R. Dunton, first assistant superintendent of the hospital. A few minutes before the conference terminated, Dr. Wolf left the room, passed through the corridor close to Dr. Brush's office, and I think Dr. Brush is like their boss. He's like the overseer, and went to Dr. Dunton's room. Dr. Dutton's room is approximately 25 feet from the conference hall. A few minutes after Dr. Wolf left the conference room, Professor Ishida, politely excusing himself as he passed several nurses, followed. They saw him pass through the corridor toward Dr. Dutton's office. Dr. Brush, in his office, paid no attention to the departure of the men, but remembered hearing Dr. Wolf ask something about the time limit of the lecture. Less than a minute later, there was a pistol report, which Dr. Brush believed to be the blowout of an automobile tire. Then came a clearer explosion and the cries of Dr. Wolf. Dr. Ishida was heard to say something a moment before the first shot was fired by several persons standing in the corridor, but they did not understand him. Dr. Dutton ran from the conference and exclaimed, "Ishida has shot Wolf." Dr. Brush walked quickly from his office to the corridor and met Dr. Ishida, pistol in hand, walking quietly along the passageway. Dr. Brush seized him and took him to his office where he disarmed him. Professor Ishida, according to Dr. Brush, resisted him, but was overpowered, and Dr. Brush took the pistol from his hand. The weapon was cocked for a third shot when examined by Dr. Brush. Male attendants were called, and the Japanese doctor was held under guard in Dr. Brush's office while physicians went to the aid of Dr. Wolf. He was found lying on the floor in Dr. Dutton's office, one bullet hole in his face and another in his abdomen. He became unconscious almost immediately after the shots were fired, and he died within a few minutes. Right? Sorry. Dr. Dutton was a party to this whole thing, and so of course he had to go to court, and that is what I now have to research. I have so far only found like 3 articles that mention Dr. Dutton. I mean, I literally just dipped my toe into the waters of this Ishida Wolf murder situation. But can you believe this? Dr. Dutton is always up to something. This man, so this is 1918. 2 years before this, he hung a quilt show. And so it's not like he's not involved in all the things all at once, because he is involved in quilts from the turn of the century until he died in 66. So dude's been busy. You know what?
I
just keep, I mean, it's a terrible story. It's very sad, and I don't know all of the details because, again, I haven't read all the details about the case itself. But can you imagine, like, any one person, you think of any person you know that just has a million stories? That's like what Dr. Dutton feels like, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's in the paper. I started just generally looking in the Baltimore Sun. Yeah. And just doing like the Dr. Dutton search. They reported on Dr. Dutton like every other week. He was doing something. He was at a conference, and he was going to Boston, and he was going to Chicago.
Man about town.
And and those are like the society page type stuff. Yeah. But and then this, and I'm thinking, yes, Kenny. Yes, I'm thinking, do I really even want to write about Dr. Dutton in the quilt? I mean, that's just a chapter of Dr. Dutton's crazy life.
I see you doing like one of those just huge like tomes, like those biographies, and it's just called Dutton. And it's like 750 pages, and it's like the seminal book on Dutton written by Stephanie Cake.
Yeah, and there are other things. Yeah. I won't drop those little things yet, because Dr. Dutton, he was a colonial revolutionary son. I've got all of his I got a bunch of his Sons of the American Revolution stuff.
Interesting.
It's all part of the public record.
Yeah. I want a picture of him coming out of the courthouse like some kind of like amazing images. I always want images, right? Yeah.
He strikes me as a helpful person. Huh. Like everything that he wrote about he was wanting to be like helpful to people. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's quoted quite a bit in the paper about like children should not be given opiates.
Same. Like good.
Yeah, I mean,
agreed. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, Word Nerd's already looking it up. Okay,
Kathy,
don't spoil it for me. Okay, I haven't gotten that far.
Amazing.
Yes, I do know Dr. Dutton, I think, was very, very suspicious about this whole Ishida Wolf thing. But.
I like what Kenny said, a weirdness magnet. He sounds like he was a weirdness magnet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I told Mary about 1 or 2 things. I'll save those crumbs for next time.
Yeah.
Yes, Dutton crumbs. I like that. But yeah, he just like out of the blue you're like, Dutton, what have you been up to? How did you get yourself into this situation?
You know what? You know what? Some people just get stuff. Well, okay. The correct term is some people just get shit popping. You know what I mean? You know, they just they get shit popping. Like they just stuff happens to them, and they hang around. You know, they're on the block. They get it popping, and like stuff happens to them. And if you're open to it, it just does. And it sounds like he was, like a weirdness magnet, and also just like I don't know, like I don't get too afraid to like talk to somebody. I'm not like a Dutton figure, but like I don't know. Like he sounded like he was just open to stuff, and so stuff happened to him, you know. And I love that.
I also think much like the Quilt Nerds, he was just obsessive about certain things, like banjo. Yes, he was playing banjo in the courtroom while he was curating quilts. Yeah.
You need to start a Dr. Dutton channel. You know what? Why not? Listen, we should have a Dr. Dutton report like once a week. That's like a separate, because the cake break is great, but like maybe there should be like a Dutton report, you know? And then
I was thinking maybe the disco has a Dutton
club. I think that's a fine idea. And we should give you like an isolated like Dutton report. The Dutton report. Yeah, because like, you know, I mean, it should be its own thing. I think it should be its own thing. And then at the cake break, we can like do business and stuff like that. But like, it's really exciting. Like seeing your research advance, like I love it. And I would like to hear it, because then I go to the bathroom, I do stuff, you know, and I miss some of it. So yeah, let's work on that. Let's like make it like a thing. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to have access to his papers soon. At the very least, some of the beginning stuff, like some of his letters, his correspondence, and his manuscripts.
Great.
So yeah, I've been talking to the librarian at the BMA library.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's good. I love that. So exciting. Okay, good. Yay. Good. Well, before we do the last few, I've got about five more first quilts to look at tonight. I knew that would be kind of what we do tonight, because you know, we like to spend time looking at everybody's stuff. I just wanted to let folks know that this exhibit is coming up March 7th. We're going to be all up in this thing in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, at the Skirball Cultural Center. There's a big portion of that Fabric of a Nation exhibit. The intro quilt I talked about, well, I don't know if that one's at this exhibit, but we'll see. And if Pastrami Tacos is watching, I need to just email you about it. Pastrami Tacos went to the exhibit and sent a very cool picture of herself at the exhibit and of her darling baby. I would definitely not show your pictures without permission. Definitely not the one of your baby, who is the cutest baby I've ever seen in my life. But Pastrami Tacos was able to go to this exhibit and took a really great picture of herself with the Harriet Powers quilt. I gotta show it to you. Anyway, but this is going on right now through March 12th at the Skirball Cultural Center. And my mom and I, we're gonna go. These are some of the quilts that are going to be shown. And by the way, do you see that quilt on the right, that wonderful starburst? I forget what it's called. That was one of the Century of Progress quilts from 1933, 34. It's such an important quilt. It's so important. And the double wedding ring you see there, that's a Gerald Roy, at least it was, Gerald Pilgrim and Roy quilt. And then you have something from G's Bend there. And then that one big, the ball thing back there, I forget the maker. Oh, and Molly Upton. Look, there's a Molly Upton quilt. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. You see? That's a Watchtower. God, I know too much about this stuff. Oh, God. Oh, I can only host a live stream show about quilts, because at this point, it's really a crack up. Okay, anyway, so March 7th, my mom and I, sorry, I know it's kind of hard to read, but my mom and I are going to go. Okay, we're going to go, and we're going to be there together. And I'm figuring out what time, and that needs to be figured out soon so people can plan. But I mean, it's like a month away. But we'll figure it out. And if you want to be there, if you want to come with us, if you want to, I should say this, if you want to hang out with us that day, we'll figure that out, because we have permission to be there from the Skirball and from the Boston Museum of Fine Arts Boston, who put the exhibit together. But I think what it would look like is Mom and I will live stream from the exhibit. We'll walk the show and live stream for the subscribers. It's for the subscribers. You got to subscribe to the show to get this. It's really special. And then we'll do like a Quilt Nerd meetup lunch or something. It doesn't cost anything. What am I going to charge you money? Hey, Miss Lady, yay! Thanks for cheering. I'm going to charge you money to like have lunch with me and my mom. Like, no. No. Just buy us a glass of wine. Okay, anyway. But, we'll figure it out. And as soon as I do, you'll be the first to know. If you're a subscriber, you get access to our Discord server. It's one of the biggest perks. Like, you don't have to watch ads. You get to be on the Discord. It's like the clubhouse we hang out at when the show's not on. And all the details about all of the things. Because the Discord's for subscribers. So everybody's who is on the Discord subscribes to the show. So you're the first to know about everything. So subscribe today on Twitch. It's a good time. You get entered in giveaways and all that stuff. So Fabric of a Nation in LA, March 7th. You want to see the show? Can't get to LA? I got you. Okay? I got you. Let's get some stuff popping. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. So back to this. We've got. I want to share first quilts from Mademoiselle Larry, April Martin. I hope you're watching, April, because I have something to say to you. Joyce K, Kitty Hannah, Kenny, and a longtime lurker, Glenn, and Cindy. That's who we got. That's the lineup. And then if you've sent a quilt, but I didn't say your name, then you will be on the second part of this, my first quilt thing. It's so exciting. Okay, so Mademoiselle Larry, who the last time we saw one of her quilts was like, English is my second language. I'm so sorry that I'm not very articulate. And it was like she was writing better than me or, any AI bot, that's people are trying to use to, I thought about using the AI bot to write some of the watch copy and then I didn't, but I was like, I bet it knows more about watches than I do. Anyway, so Mademoiselle says her first quilt was made in 2020, May to December. It's 48 by 60. And it's a quilt as you go, machine quilted, okay? I fell in love with the pattern, the rambling jelly roll quilt, as shown by Yoan Sewing Studio, Yoan. I remember how her tutorial mesmerized me. It looked so effortless. She sewed like she was breathing. Oh, that's what I'm saying. She sewed like she was breathing. Cool. Batting is flannel because I wasn't sure real batting would fit in my domestic machine. I have 2 pictures from her, okay? As a result, no puffiness, but comfy weight. The top design results of many trials and errors with black and white. Here we go. Black and white photos. Some quilters on YouTube showed how it is helpful to play with color density. Yeah, the black and white photo can, yes. I'm glad I did. I'm sure this is why I'm still so happy to see it every day. It's so great. Mademoiselle Larry, it's bon. It's bon. Back then in 2020, right? Back then I was aware that pre-cuts were a shortcut, but I wanted to pick and cut the fabric. I'm Canadian, so I grew up with metric measurements, but all my quilting tools were imperial. You would think it's a detail, but I'm mathematically challenged, she says. So visualizing and counting in inches was such a hassle. I'm doing better today. My sewing experience back then consisted of a few mesh bags and sew and flip blankets. So picture me pinning every piece, and she spaced that out, every piece, and tracing sewing lines with a 1/2 inch margin because I thought I would make a mess with the tiny 1/4 inch margin. Oh boy, that's interesting. A 1/2 inch seam allowance because that's interesting. That's funny. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. Label on the back. I can't remember why I camouflaged it in the clouds. That was the picture I showed you. As for the house applique, it's made out of my boyfriend's face masks. What? Coolest face masks? Pinstripe, denim-y looking face masks. Awesome. And then she says, out of curiosity, I tracked the time spent making and learning. Undoing, hesitating, threading the bobbin, rolling and maneuvering. Let's look at the whole thing. Rolling and maneuvering the sandwich in the 6 inches opening of my machine, dreaming of a walking foot, literally. It totals plus or minus 80 hours. I'm so glad you did that. Oh, and then the last thing she says is, the best compliment I get about this quilt, when a friend comes over with her kids and they rush in the living room to get under it. Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. That's so great. Quilt Church. I'm so glad you recorded it. Cake, have you ever done that? Have you ever kept track of any project? Like, how long is it going to take me to do this, or how long will it?
I haven't. I prefer to live in, ignorance.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd probably like throw away all my quilting supplies if I really thought
Honestly,
about it.
yes. And especially if you do anything for money at any time. And the same thing with the writing, by the way. I was like, what's it worth? What's all my experience worth? What is it worth by the hour? I don't know. You can't afford it, that kind of thing. But what else? Hey, I saw Elle Riggs and Quack Quack Cat. Hi. So, exactly. So, Madam Wazelle is in the chat. I'm so glad. So, anybody else, have you counted the hours? Have you? Oh, look at that! I didn't notice that before. Have you counted hours? I mean, have you kept track? I didn't keep track of my writing work. I put a price on it. I don't know. I hope it was the right price. And not that you're selling this, Mademoiselle Larry, I know, but I'm just curious because I don't know. Mademoiselle Larry, but nerds, remember 2020 lockdowns, infinite time. This is true. You had a little more, downtime, right? Because you weren't commuting or going to the office or going to the, Kenny says, I'd love to get my hands on the backing fabric. Padma doesn't want to know how long it takes. I know. That's the thing. Babe loves it. Absolutely. I do too. It's wonderful. Mademoiselle Larry, you always bring it. You bring the pain in the best possible way. Very well done. A lovely first quilt. Ridiculous. Okay. April Martin, if you're out there, I'm so glad that you sent this in. And this is so... Listen, you sent me an item from the Amazon wish list for Quilt Nerd. And I have a little... In the box, they give you a little slip of paper that says, like, this is your gift from Amazon. And sometimes it's anonymous or something. There's a couple this Christmas that, like, didn't have, but it sends a thank you message. Anyway, I'm trying to get all my thank yous sent out, but it doesn't say, it says your name, but I don't have your email. So anyway, and I don't have your mailing address as far as I know. I checked the thing. I don't know. The bakery may have done something, they keep things together and I don't. So maybe I have it. I'll look again, but I really want to say thank you to you. And I don't know. I have the opportunity to say that on the show, right? So if you're watching, please email quiltnerdshow@gmail.com with your mailing address so that I can continue with my never-ending thank you note desires. But this is your first quilt, April, and I know something about April that I'm gonna tell you from her email. Anyway, I can tell you that April says this was a pattern included. This was a pattern included. This is a pattern that included all the pieces for the quilt. Oh, that's great. Like a kit, right? It had all the pieces. No cutting with scissors. Made in 1977. Yes. Made in 1977. Amazing. I love it. It's so cool. I want to see more. Like, I just feel like I'm going to extend to you, April, the invitation to send another picture of this quilt. Yes, that's true. I can't ask everybody. It's not special treatment. It is purely out of, I want to see the 1977 kit quilt that was this Lone Star Starburst kind of thing. I don't know if you're in the chat, April, but very cool. And it's faded. I mean, I think we can tell that it's faded, but it's not. It's very much here today, here yesterday, here today. This quilt is hanging on, and it's great. And here's what I wanted to tell you about April. In her email signature, there are 2 quotes in her email signature. This is just how she sends emails, and I wanted to share it with you. The first email signature quote says, quote, "The time is always right to do what is right." Martin Luther King Jr. And the second quote in her email signature, quote, "I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." Genesis 9:13. April, I don't know. The more I learn about Quilt Nerds, the more I'm like, well, obviously they're here. Like, obviously, this is like the crew, you know, that you want to hang out with. I mean, come on. That's beautiful, you know? So that's what we know about April's quilt. Thank you for sending it, and I love your email signature. Thank you for taking it.
And this is another example of a person who jumped into what could possibly be the hardest thing ever. I mean, I realize even if it's a kit, that is still a really difficult pattern to, you know, I mean, yeah, and it looks so good.
It really...
You guys are so amazing.
They're amazing. You're amazing. It's really great. I mean, the quilting, like, are you serious? It looks long-armed, but it isn't. I mean, it wouldn't be, right? But I mean... Damn. It's fabulous. You're fabulous. It's fabulous. Very well done. Okay. Cindy Wiggins. You're a crack up. Check this out. Okay. This is what Cindy says. Cindy says, buckle up, buttercups. It's a bit of crazy. The first quilt I jokingly called the guilt quilt. Okay. So Cindy, it's a crack up. Okay. The guilt quilt. My mom had made me and my sister LSU quilts in 2012, 2013. Okay. Fast forward to 2015. She's complaining she's going to have to make her own LSU quilt if she wants one. Louisiana State University, right? My sister looks at me dead in the eye when mom's out of the room. You've got a sewing machine, she says. Guess you're making it. I never even thought of making a quilt. So this is Cindy, okay? She'd never even thought of making a quilt at this time. I made my scrub caps, she says, but that was it. So there I was, working in Albany, Georgia, searching the internet for an easy pattern. Found this one. It was squares and rectangles and border pieces. It was pretty easy to put together. It's so great. I sent the top and enough for the yellow for the back and the binding. By the way, it's huge. Once again, like this quilt is enormous. It's enormous. It's so big. It's so big. Squares and rectangles, border pieces. It was pretty easy to put together. I sent the top and enough of the back, and the binding, and told her to call mom's local quilt shop to find out who long arms for her to get it quilted. That way we shared the cost of the quilt. The quilting is basic, but it wasn't me, so I was pretty happy with it. Mom was happy. She had her LSU quilt. As I was working on the ugly quilt in 2020, my cousin Josh tells me he and his boyfriend are engaged. I thought, I'm going to make them a quilt. Cindy, I think you sent 3 first quilts, which is fine. I'm learning this as I'm reading it, and you know what? God bless it. Okay. So, but I don't know. Maybe it's like the back of this quilt. I don't know. So Cindy says, I thought I'm going to make him a quilt. 60 by 60. Yeah. Cindy. Is this right? Oh God, I don't want to mess up. All right. 60 by 60 are close enough. This is pretty awesome. Really? This is your second? Come on. I want to make so it's good on the ground as a picnic blanket or on the couch to veg out with. What does my dumb self decide to do? Yeah, make him a Lone Star, since Grandma had made one. So I watched Donna Jordan's tutorial, got a bunch of batiks, and went about making it. Y'all, she says, y'all, I can't tell you how many times I tore sections of the stars apart because they weren't even close to right. I've not cussed something so badly in my life. But I wasn't done killing myself. I decided to hand stitch it. Okay, I just gotta pause and say, this thing looks awesome. This thing looks awesome because it's like starshine. It's like the night sky. Like there's this like twinkling stars situation happening type deal. It's done with 12 number 12 variegated thread called Bradley's Balloons and is rainbow. The back is lighter gray with 9 patches and cooler batiks. My friend who quilts told me I should have started with a 9 patch and not a Lone Star. Yeah, Cindy, you totally should have, and I'm so glad you didn't. Right? This is so cool.
All of you, raise your hand if you should have started with a 9 patch, but instead you just did a Mariner's Compass as your quilt,
exactly.
or a Lone Star.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the twirling pyrotechnic thing that we saw that one time. You know, it's like the curved seams with a pinwheel. It's insane. It's fabulous. Okay, and now way to go, Cindy. This is totally gorgeous. It's great. Now for the third quilt. Only you, Cindy Wiggins. Okay. All right. No, it's great. Now for the third quilt. I popped a few pics on Instagram of the Lone Star, but blocked Josh and Rick from seeing it. Smart. A former coworker DM'd me and asked how much I would charge him to make his wife a quilt. This is really cool. Oh my God, this is so cool. I told him it was literally my second quilt ever. What we did was an art exchange. Awesome. Oh dear. What we did was an art exchange. I made this twin sisters quilt, which I also hand stitched. He sent me a huge sugar skull painting. Oh, so that was the art exchange. I love it. He sent me a huge sugar skull painting. Love that. This quilt is 80 by 80 and mostly fits on her queen bed. 80 by 80? Cindy, I hope I've gotten these right. Yeah, I've gotten these right. All these. Yeah, of course. I really enjoyed making the Twin Sisters quilt. I will make another Lone Star just because I want one for me. Probably a bigger star because I'm a masochist. Exactly. Oh, and by the way, Cindy also has a quote in her email signature. Anais Nin. The only abnormality is the incapacity to love. Oh. I need a quote in my signature. That's great. Cindy, well done. You're a crack up for sure. Wait, no, I'm not saving changes. No. The Lone Star is incredible. It's incredible. Okay, this is Glenn. This is from Glenn. I have questions, Glenn. I'm so excited to see your quilt. Hang on. This is it. So Glenn says to us, this is what he says. I was watching an older Quilt Nerd episode, and even though I didn't really know I was making a quilt at the time, I made this for my newborn nephew with minky, flannel, and faux fur with a satin binding. Oh, I love you so much. Someone said, straight line quilting is still quilting. Of course, in my mind, I heard a simple spiral. No problem. Oh, I love it. Let's just say it was not as simple as I'm sure you know. Also, I used glow-in-the-dark thread for spirals. Oh, God bless you. Anyway, I appreciate everything you do. Can't wait to join the Discord. Just got to figure out the link. And he signed it, longtime lurker, Glenn. I don't know his screen name, but that's okay. So, the link for Glenn. Okay, email quiltnerdshow@gmail.com, and we will hook you up. Glenn, you're the best.
Glenn, if you're listening, yes. Me or Robin can also help you if you give us a shout on Twitch.
Yes, exactly. Please, they will help you. I will cry when I think about you making your first quilt out of glow in the dark thread, because it's you can't hide, Glenn, ever, and it's so awesome. It's minky, flannel, and faux fur with a satin binding. It's a revelation. Oh, this is interesting. Union Street, James Street. I wonder where you are. Anyway, it's so great. I love that you're I was watching an older Quilt Nerd episode, and even though I didn't really know I was making a quilt at the time, I made this for my newborn nephew. Oh, it's so awesome. It's so great. Oh man, the satin binding. I'm living for the satin binding. Glenn, you're among friends. This is the best. You're right where you need to be. We love this stuff. It's so great. I love it so much. Okay, good job. And thank you. And this is why we love the Lurker Lounge, because these are our people who don't chat, but we know they're out there, right? Joyce, Kenny, and Kitty. That's it. That's the show tonight. Joyce, Kitty, and Kenny. You're going to take us home. Okay, Joyce, here we go. Joyce, this quilt I want to wrap up in. You know where I want to wrap up in this quilt? At a lake house. A cabin, a cabin lake house. That's what I want. Okay, let's see what you have to say about it. Let's see what you have to say for yourself, Joyce. Let's see what you have to say about this wonderful quilt. Okay, Joyce says, I was 18 when I discovered some orphan blocks in my mother's cedar chest. They were her mother's. Oh, they were her mother's. Wow. So these were your grandmother's blocks. Pardon me. Since I had been sewing from an early age on the farm, I decided to make a quilt for college, having no knowledge of quilting. Wow. Being 1972, the fill-in fabrics and navy blue backing were polyester. Love it. An old flannel blanket was the batting. Nice. And I machine stitched a one-way diagonal. Pardon me. 51 years later, I'm ready to deconstruct and improve to honor my grandmother's work. I love that. I approve of that. I think that's really great. Thanks to you, Mary, and the Quilt Nerd community for giving me a push to accomplish this goal. All the best, Joyce. Joyce, hell yeah. I think this idea of, well, finishing quilts that weren't finished, joining, finishing blocks, whether they're orphan blocks or orphan tops. There are exceptions. Like, I think there would be exceptions to, well, certain things. It's a whole topic. We can talk about it. But like, you had your grandma's blocks. She didn't get them done. You finished them, and now to add to the story of this quilt, you're like, you know what? Now that I know more about quilting, I'm gonna actually take this quilt and make it a quilt that's even well, I mean, I see some missing patches here. So like I'll repair it, I'll help it live. I'll restore it, right? You'll restore it. I think that's really, really cool. I think it's so cool, man. And it's still going to be able to warm people. Anyone who comes to your home can wrap up with this quilt. And if it's like mended and like adapted for the next generation, it's freaking awesome. Joyce, well done. Totally approved. Quilt Church, yes. Okay. Kenny's first. Okay, I am interested in that. I'm very interested in Kenny's first quilt. And Kenny, as usual, he's a man of few words. 2 sentences, both succinct. Kenny says, my first quilt was a simple charm quilt made of flannel. I did stitch in the ditch quilting. That's it. That's all we've got. It's all we've got, except 2 pictures of a rich, warm, like yummy. I mean, come on, Kenny, you just know. You just knew what to do. You knew what to do. It's so nice. Talk about a cabin at the lake. Oof. Kenny, you were a natural. It looks so cozy. Mishral, thank you. You said it. It looks cozy. Cozy. Wait, I just saw something. Speaking of repair, a book on this information, Quilts for Sweet Dreams. Yes, there is a book for that information. And I think, will you look and see if we have a link for time span quilts? Okay, will you check it out? There's a couple resources. One for sure that talks about finishing old quilts, finishing old tops and old blocks. You'll be hearing more about that. You'll be hearing more about that soon, actually. There's a project I'm working on that you'll be hearing about soon. So stay tuned about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna see if Cake has got. I mean, if we don't have a link for this one particular book, we'll get one. But there is one book I can recommend. Kenny, it's flannel. It's stitch in the ditch. It's great. My question to you, since I know you're hanging out, where is this quilt now, and how big is it? 2 inch. Hey, thank you, Cake. Time Span Quilts by Becky Hurdle. I actually was just reading it today. I was literally reading it today. Yeah, Time Span Quilts. She calls them Time Span Quilts because they were started in like 1880 and finished in 1989. So Time Span Quilts is pretty cool. Where is this quilt? Hey, Dee Marie. It's good to see you.
He said it was for a friend's baby or friend's second child.
Okay. So, okay, great. Yeah. A lot of people don't have their first quilt because they give them away, I'm glad you took these process shots. It's beautiful. Well done, Kenny, as usual. Okay. Take us home, Kitty Hannah. Take us home. Oh, look at these people. Oh my God. I love seeing people in these quilt pictures. I do. Okay. This if you are one of these people, I don't even know what to say. Okay. This is called Bell's quilt. Okay. Kitty says, well, I showed my first quilt in a previous show. Oh, yeah. So I thought I would show you all my second quilt. But in keeping with the theme, this is my first ever large full-sized quilt. Oh my God, the quilting up there. Okay. I made this quilt for my stepdaughter, who was 13 at the time. She went with me to pick out all the fabrics. So is that you, Kitty, on the right, and then your stepdaughter on the left? Ugh. Ridiculous. She went with me to pick out all the fabrics. She picked out the pattern, and she even helped me with the hand quilting. Hand quilting! I love this quilt because it's cheerful and girly. Yes, it shows the sweet innocence of early adolescence. Oh my God, does it ever? Oh, wait a minute. I have to show this one. Oh, this picture kills me. Okay. It's cheerful and girly, shows the sweet innocence of early adolescence. This picture, this is like everyone just have faith in humanity, okay? It's official. Kitty Hannah has provided it, okay? It demonstrates that very short time when young women are still holding on to their childhood wonder. I'm literally going to tear up. Like, yeah, there is that short time. When I look at this quilt, I'm reminded of all the time we spent making it together. And that warms my heart. I love my 3 stepchildren every bit as much as I love my biological child. I am truly blessed. Oh my God. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to rotate the image because I want to read the thing. Oops, sorry. To Annabelle from Hannah. 2017. Kitty. Wow. I wasn't even like, I'm going to end on this one because it's gonna make everybody feel like everything's going to be okay. But this is perfect, right? Okay, also, Kitty Hannah, wait a minute. Oh, we can't see your face. Hold on. I need to show everybody Kitty Hannah's face. Kitty Hannah, you look like your hair is so luscious and like, I don't know, there's something, like I just want you to make me like dinner and take care of me and then like hang out with me later and drink martinis. Like, I don't know what all of you look like. So sometimes when I see what you look like, it's like, oh my God, okay, great. Anyway, it's really, 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 really awesome. It's a beautiful quilt. This picture is wonderful. And your sentiment is perfect. You love your children, period. And what you said about young women, right, at that adolescent, it really is this brief time, right, where we're like, we're not girls and we're not yet women, and it's a weird time and it's cool. One of my favorite teachers I ever had, professor in college, in undergrad, she loved 6th and 7th graders. She loved doing stuff like teaching them and like she was a playwriting instructor and she would teach summer camp. She's like, they're so weird. 6th and 7th graders, like, it's just such a weird time and it's hard, but it's amazing. And she's like, they're my favorite people. And I was like, I'm glad somebody thinks that they're great.
It takes a special person to say that 6th and 7th graders are great people because they are awful.
It's tough. It's tough because you're like, what's happening to my life? Like, everything is terrible. But then there's also this wonder. How did you say? You said, demonstrates the very short time, the sweet innocence of early adolescence, demonstrates that very short time when young women are still holding on to their childhood wonder. So good. Kitty, every time, man. That age is the best. Lisa's all into it. Yeah, totally. They're earnest, yes. Whew. Well, everybody, that's the show. What a great time. I love seeing the first quilts because if you're watching the show, you've come so far, even if your first quilt was like very recent. Hey Gwen, thanks for liking the stream. I'm so glad that you liked it. I hope that you'll continue to watch and maybe consider subscribing over here on Twitch. I just love seeing it because if you're in this community, you're really deep into what quilts mean and like what they are. And then as a maker, if you're making them too, it's not that you can't be you can be a quilt nerd without making quilts, and you can make quilts without being a quilt nerd. Hey Michelle, nice. But to have both is an interesting experience, to make a quilt. I like what Glenn said. He's like, I didn't even know I was making a quilt. Like, Glenn, I'm not making fun of it. What did you think you were making? I really, like, what was it? What was it? If it wasn't a quilt, what was it? I mean that. Like, I love that you're like, oh, I made a quilt. Anyway. Thanks to everybody who's subscribing to the show. Tomorrow's a Sunday social. I should cut out because I got to do that tomorrow. But 11 a.m. Central, just before the show, we send out a link. So make sure we have your email, quiltnerdshow@gmail.com. Robin is a goddess. She takes care of that. But just before 11, Robin will send out a link, quiltnerdshow@gmail.com. You'll get a link, and you click that, and it's a private stream. And if you're a tier 2 or tier 3 subscriber, you get to join us and bring your project, get your project ready. Maybe you're going to cook something. Maybe you're cleaning up the house. Maybe you just need to, I don't know. Maybe Sunday's like a day where you drink scotch all day. I don't know. Pour it, sit down. I'll entertain you, and we'll hang out. It's a good time. So thanks to everybody. Cake, good luck at the mother-in-law's house. It seems like you're having a good time.
Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah, we have a good relationship.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, thank you for the Dutton update, and thank you everybody for coming by. And I will see you soon. Molly Squared, oh my God, Molly Squared. Hi, Molly. Okay, bye. I'm glad you weren't here because you make me laugh. You make me laugh and I get distracted. Okay, go away. I'm kidding. Okay, bye everybody. See you later.
And how big old Santa's gonna fit in our chimney anyway. And mama, what happens if it's just no good? Well, it's simply move on to the next house in the neighborhood.